Hey, what's up guys? Matt here with Fix Anything Save Money. Today we are going to be showing you the step-by-step procedure to install this Fleximounts model GL1 garage ceiling storage lift. And this is the one that comes in black. So we're going to be going over this process step by step, showing you how to install it, going over any hiccups that I encountered during the installation so you could hopefully avoid those hiccups. So you could see we have it all unboxed here in the basement. We're going to be putting it in the garage. So the very first thing I just want you to be aware of is when you're unpacking it, do not throw away this piece of cardboard, because this is the actual template you're going to be using. You're going to be hanging this on the ceiling, and that's going to be showing you where to put the actual ceiling mounts. So that's the very first thing. Do not throw this piece away, or you're going to be in for a headache. So you can see here, this is where we're going to be installing it. In the garage, I just want to get a lot of this stuff, a lot of these tools and stuff off of the, well really, I want to get these two ladders off the ground, and I want to put them right up here on the ceiling. So we're going to be going over that, and we're going to be showing you exactly how to do it. So the very, very first step is going to be to find the joists in your ceiling and marking those out with a stud finder, or if you have access to the joists and you could see them, usually they are spaced 16 inches on center. Mine in this garage, they run this way, and you can see here I marked out one of them that I found. I don't think this is the one I'm going to actually use, but I'll show you the ones. I'm going to mark out the ones I'm going to use. We'll show you those, and the spacing that you need for this system is 48 inches. So it would be, your floor joists right here, then you would skip one, and then it would go on to the next one. That's how your brackets would mount. If you're confused on that, just hang with me. We're going to be going over all that. So the first step is to find and mark your floor joists, and you want just a kind of, the way I like to do it is just run a pencil mark. Once you find it, run a pencil mark all the way down each joist. So we'll show you what that looks like. Okay guys, so we went through, we cleaned out this space just to make some room to work. So what you're going to need is a kind of a step ladder. A 3-foot level definitely helps, or a 4-foot level. And what I did was I found the joists and I marked it out just so you could see it nice on camera. This red line is running down the center of my floor joist. And then we're going to go over this way, 48 inches to our next floor joist. And you can see here, I have another line, and I just carried it over straight to this beam. So our floor joists are running this way. And then I have you don't need to do a whole big line, but I'm going to be painting this ceiling anyway when I'm done. So I figured I would do it just for the video so you could see clearly. And this is what we're going to use when we put our template up and when we actually install the brackets. So the next step is going to be installing the template. So I will cut the video, come back, and you'll see the template up, and we'll show you what that looks like. Okay guys, so we have our template up in place. Now the one thing I just want you to make sure you take note of is you could see that little cross cutout and that little cross cutout, so that goes along the same beam. So this is going to take a little bit of planning, because these cross cutouts are made for these wheel mounts. So the mount with the wheel goes in the cross cutout for each side. So there's 2 of those right here, and then these go on this side right here. So these are just the little rectangular cutouts, and both of those are going to run along your other joists. And the way these sit, they sit just like that, facing in. And we'll show you that again once we get them up. But the next step then is going to be actually just kind of putting these brackets in place and marking them with a marker, and then we're going to drill them out So we'll show you what it looks like when it's all marked up. Okay guys, so we just went through and marked out each bracket. So literally all I did was, for this joist with this cross cut out in the template, you just take the wheel, kind of set it up there in the cutout, and then just mark it with a marker. So you can see there's 4 holes for the mounts with the wheels. And then going over to our next floor joist, that bracket just has the 3 holes. And we'll show you what that looked like when I was marking it. So I just put it up just like this, and then just fit it into this little cutout, and then marked my 3 holes. So you do that for each one. Over here, you would come over, set it in there like that, mark out your holes. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to take a drill with a 3/16 drill bit, and then we're just going to go through and drill these holes out. They say like 2.8 inches to go up, so we're just going to kind of estimate. And really, you know, you're going to be using the hardware that is marked with the letter G, and it's just pretty much like a long screw with a washer that you put on, and then you put it up in through the bracket and tighten that down. So we'll show you that though. So we'll cut the video, we'll drill these holes, and then we will show you the installation of the brackets. Okay guys, so we'll show you one of these real quick. So you can see we drilled out our 3/16 hole. And a good way to tell that you hit the joist, you know, I mean, you always want to double check your line with a stud finder, make sure you're on your joist when you mark your line. But a good way to make sure you know you hit the joist is when you're drilling up through, you know, you should be seeing some wood shavings come down from your joist because you're drilling through your drywall or whatever substrate you have up here, and then you're going into your joist. So you want to make sure you're hitting your joist. You're seeing those little bit of wood shavings come out of your drill bit. So now we'll go ahead, and we have our holes drilled on all 4. We're going to go ahead and we're going to install our brackets, and we'll show you what that looks like too. And for that, we're going to be using this pack. It's the G pack with these long screws, and then we're just going to put our washer in. So these screws are going to go into all of our brackets. So there should be 4 in that, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 in total. So we'll show you what that looks like installed now. Okay guys, so we went ahead and we got these brackets up with the wheels and also the normal brackets. Just take note of how this is on each side. You can see the U shape. You're going to be sliding that rail in that way and then in this way. So yeah, the one thing I do want to mention in this step is just make sure you do not tighten the screws, or these big lag screws, whatever you want to call them, lag bolts, up all the way. Just leave them a little bit loose, because the next step is just going to be to remove the template, and it's easier to remove with the bolts, you know, a little bit loose. So loosen them up, remove your template, then tighten everything back down. And the next step will be setting up this rail right here. So we'll cut the video and go back to that. Oh, and then also to tighten these, I ended up using a 1/2 inch socket like that, kind of the longer socket, because they do give you a piece. Where is it? Right here. They give you this little tool right here that you pretty much would put that over the hex bolt and then tighten it down, kind of put the Allen key in like that, and then just tighten it like that. But I figured that was going to take a very long time. If you have an impact wrench, you know, throw a 1/2 inch socket on there and you're going to do it a lot quicker than I just did, even with the ratchet. So that's just a little tip. So yeah, we'll cut the video, take this down, and then we'll show you the next step. Okay, so I was just bringing this down, and I just wanted to reiterate, because this is very important. So when you put the template up, this cutout, you want to make sure the cross cutout goes onto the bracket with the wheel, and then the regular cutouts go onto the normal brackets, because the distance between these brackets is different. So say you had this cross, say you had that bracket on this side of the template, your distance is a lot shorter between these two than it is between these two. So when you go to hang your bar on these two, it won't fit if you don't pay attention to the way the template goes on. So just a little word to the wise, the cross cutout is for the wheel and the other one is for the regular bracket. Okay guys, so the next step is to install this bar on these brackets right here. So you could see here, the way that this goes in, this was actually one of the easier parts. Honestly, the hardest part is installing the brackets. I mean, you could see, I thought I was right in the center of the joist, but I ended up having to move the brackets a little bit. So that's why they don't look like they're perfectly in the middle of the line. So yeah, I think I was just probably right on the corner of a joist. So I just slid them a little bit, re-drilled the holes. You can't tell because the bracket's so big on them, but not a big deal. It took me an extra few minutes. But so to install this bar pretty much folds in like that. So you would have it pressed in all the way, then put this piece in first. It just slides right in, and then you would just extend it out and then put this piece in right here. So you can see kind of how it goes. That just slides right in. And then you want to be able to see these holes right here. There's a hole right here. And then there's another hole right here. So you just want to be able to kind of center those holes up. You can see one right there, and then one right there. Okay, so we have that piece installed. Now we'll move on to the next step. Okay guys, so the next step is to install the hardware into these brackets. So that little hardware pack they give you has letters on it. So the A hardware packet are 4 bolts. So you would put one here, and then you come over to the other side, and there's one there and there. And then the B packet has more hardware. It has 2 bolts and 2 nuts. So you can see how that goes. And again, you could use your 1/2-inch socket if you have one, or you could use, you know, the Allen wrenches and stuff that they provide just to tighten this bolt down on each side. So this is the B, and then A and A. Okay, so now we'll move on to the next step. Okay guys, so we went ahead and did one side. So I left this side alone for now. All I did was undid this packaging. You can see there's little zip ties, so you might need, you know, a utility knife or something to cut all the zip ties off. Let them hang. So on each side, so this looked just like this. One of these is longer than the other. This one I think is the longer one. So when you undo this side, there's a longer one that the longer one goes this way and comes down, and then it should be the same length as this guy right here. So then you would just do the same thing on that side. So when you unpack these, one of these is longer than the other. The longer one goes up and loops around that wheel. And then they say you should have the black cord on the outside. So we have our black one on the outside here. So then we'll just do the same thing over on this side. Okay guys, so we have this all installed now. And then, you know, when you're feeding these wires through, you just want to make sure they're not twisted. The black is on the outside, just like that. Okay. Then again, the longer piece goes up and around and down. So now we're going to install the wire mesh platform. So we'll get that set up. Okay guys, so we have this laid out. We have the wire grid laid out. Just take note of the way I have it oriented. So you can see here the way that it folds out, you know, these thicker bars are going to be going that way. And then there are little stickers on here that says this side of the wire deck should face up. So we have that facing up towards the ceiling. And then we have those crossbars laid out right here. And you can see in the crossbars, we have one hole here, another one in the middle of the crossbar, and then another one here. There are ones on the end, and that's what these cables are going to feed into. But for now, we're just going to pick the wire deck up like so. And then we are going to just use these J hooks, and we're going to feed them in. So this is out of the pack. These are the C, letter C. You get these hooks and then these nuts. So all we're going to do is go one here, put it down, same thing over here, and then we're just going to have to kind of pick it up, get the J hooks to fit down, and you know, tighten the nuts up. But that's how they're going to look. So we'll cut the video and show you what it looks like, and then we're going to go over and do the other side the same exact way. Okay guys, so now we got these little cross members on right here, and you can see what it looks like. So you want the cross members perpendicular to these kind of double wire bars here. And again, this side facing up. Okay. And the reason for that is it's the way that it unfolds. So when you're setting weight on it, it doesn't want to collapse in on itself. So that's kind of a little side note. So then this other side, we did the same thing. And all you want to do is take this cross member and just line it up so that it's halfway between, you know, this wire gate on each side. You don't want the wire, you know, too far over covering up one of the holes. So you do that on each side. And now we will move on to the next step. Okay guys, and then I should also mention, to tighten these nuts down for this hook, you could use the tool that they provide. It's just this smaller side right here to tighten these lower nuts on all 6 of these J hooks. So now our next step, we're going to actually take our cables and we're going to feed them through this hole. And we're going to be using the letter D packet of our given hardware. So all we're going to do is kind of take our cables like this. We're going to put it down and then just kind of lift up a corner at a time, and it goes washer, 2 nuts, and then we could tighten it down either with our 1/2 inch socket that we're using or the larger end of this little socket that they give you. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll do all 4 corners. Again, you're going to put that in there, then it's going to go washer, bolt, bolt. Okay guys, so we have our hooks installed. We'll show you what that looks like on this corner real quick. So you can see the hook goes through. This black piece right here is on the outside, and then it goes washer, nut, nut. And then we just have that done on all 4 sides. So you can see our black is on the outside. Here, our black is on the outside. So you just want to make sure that you're untangling it as you go. And you can see, you know, our black is there. We're not tangled up. And then on all 4 sides, do the same thing, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay guys, so now we're going to install the hand crank and winding pole. So you can see there's our pole. Here's our hand crank. And all we're going to do is, I guess you could use different settings here. We're just going to put it right into this top one. So just feed that in like that. And then you're going to use the E hardware pack, this smaller Allen wrench, and this tiny little bolt. And you're just going to put it in on this side. So I'll do that off camera. We'll get that together. Okay guys, so we have the handle and hook in place. Now you can remove this handle and you could hook this part right up to a power drill to kind of speed up things, but we'll show you how this works. So we'll go over to the gearbox in the corner here, and you could see here, let me get the camera up here. You could see This part right here is the safety mechanism, so you could go ahead and take your hook, or you could do it with your hand. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but you put your hook in there and then pull out. Okay, so now your safety is disengaged, and now all you do is you see this gray hook right. The gray hook right there, you're just gonna take your hook, put it in like that. And now you can see right here, they make it very clear. So you're gonna turn it clockwise. You're gonna turn it this way to go up. And there is a little tag, it fell off here, I'll show you. So the tag was on like that. So if you wanna go up, you're going to go this way. And this is where you would hook it up to a power drill and really get it to go up quick. But you could see it raising and wrapping that cable around. And they do recommend that you just put whatever you're gonna be storing on here the first time you raise it up. So like I'm gonna be putting ladders up here. So before I raise this, I'm going to put the ladders down and then I'm gonna raise it up, because you want tension on these cables, you want weight on them, so that, you know, it wraps around correctly the first time. And then probably once the cables have that memory and, you know, they're already stretched with that weight, then, you know, it probably goes a lot smoother. So we're gonna put some weight on here and then we're gonna raise it up. Again, twisting it this way, that's gonna raise us up, okay? So we'll do that and we'll see what it looks like. Okay guys, so you can see we kind of have it raised up. We have the ladders on there that I'm going to be storing. And I did raise it up with the handle, and then I realized, you know what, let's just use the drill. So we're going to just use this drill and we'll go around and we'll see how quick it goes with the actual drill. So again, we're just going to hook it in to that gray piece. And I have so much stuff in my garage, it's kind of cumbersome, but that's the whole goal of this. Okay, so we have that hooked up to our drill, and then let's just see how fast this goes up. So I recommend using a drill, 100%. Okay, so you can see we have our ladders stored up here. Now I only have a 7-foot tall garage, so it is, you know, kind of short. They recommend no more than 9 feet. So probably if you have a 9-foot garage, you know, this would be very good. But I was worried about the overhead clearance, and I could still walk under this with my ladders all the way up, which is great. I could still access all this stuff, which I'm very happy about. So yeah, I recommend definitely using the drill, because otherwise, you know, I mean, you could crank it up, it's just gonna take you, you know, quite a bit. But yeah, guys, that pretty much sums up this video. If you guys have any questions at all, be sure to reach out in the comments. Otherwise, be sure to check the links in the description and in the comments. I will put affiliate links. I do get a commission if you click on the links and buy anything, but I'll put those links on where you can pick up everything you see in this video that I kind of used, like the 3-foot or the 4-foot level, you know, stuff like that, a drill, just stuff that is going to make this installation go a little bit easier. You know, when I put the template up, they do give you tape for the template, but with this textured ceiling, the tape they gave didn't really fit or didn't really stick all that well on the texture. So I had to use a duct tape to do that. But yeah, guys, be sure to reach out with any questions, like this video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this kind of content. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.